Good afternoon, Ways and Means Committee members. If I could have the body's attention for just one moment. Thank you very much. We are live to broadcast right now, just so everyone is aware. Having established a quorum, I will call the Ways and Means Committee to order. We have a bill draft introduction to proceed on. Suspend certain required transfers from the State General Fund to the account to stabilize the operation of state government during the 21-23 biennium. This refers to the Okay, that's good. That's all we need. I have a motion from Vice Chairman Moreno, a second from Dr. Titus. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? You're not on the committee. You don't get to vote. Don't make me stop this car. Okay. So with that, the motion passes. The bill will be introduced on the floor, come right back to Ways and Means. Thank you very much. Broadcast services, you might want to turn the camera off now. Thank you very much.
Testing, testing. The Assembly will come back to order. We'll go to order business 4.
Mr. Speaker, Committee on Commerce and Labor, to which was referred Senate Bill 295, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same recommendation to pass. Sandra Howdiggy, Chair.
Order business 7.
Senate Chamber, Carson City, May 24, 2021. To the Honorable the Assembly, I have the honor to inform the Honorable Body that the Senate on this day concurred in Assembly Amendment 579 to Senate Bill 102, Assembly Amendment 635 to Senate Bill 134. And I have the honor to inform the Honorable Body that the Senate on this day passed Senate Bills 417, 453, and I have the honor to inform the Honorable Body that the Senate on this day passed as amended Senate Bill 424. Sherry Rodriguez, Assistant Secretary of the Senate.
We go to order business 8.
81st Legislative Session, waiver of joint standing rules, a waiver requested by Senator Canizaro for Assembly Bill 67 to waive subsection 4 of joint standing rule 14.3 out of second House by 110th day has been granted effective May 21, 2021. Senator Nicole J. Canizaro, Senate Majority Leader, Assemblyman Jason Frierson, Speaker of the Assembly.
Under order business 8, Assemblywoman Black has requested permission to participate remotely in committee and floor meetings. I would note for the record that the option of remote participation was offered to Assemblywoman Black and rejected by her before this body found her guilty of violating Assembly Standing Rule 150. Remote participation would bring Assemblywoman Black into compliance with Assembly Standing Rule 150. If the body finds that Assemblywoman Black's participation in committee and floor meetings through the use of remote technology systems satisfies the breach of Assembly Rule 150, I will authorize her remote participation. The question before the body is as follows. Does Assemblywoman Black's request for permission to participate in committee and floor meetings via remote technology satisfy her violating of Assembly Standing Rule 150 by agreeing to participate remotely, wear a mask, or otherwise comply with CDC recommendations to the satisfaction of the body? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll.
Assemblywoman Dickman, how do you vote? Assemblywoman Dickman, how do you vote on the motion?
Yes.
Assemblywoman Dickman has voted yes.
Is anyone wishing to change their vote? The Chief Clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays. The body finds Assemblywoman Black's participation in committee and floor meetings via remote technology system satisfies her breach of Assembly Standing Rule 150. We will now go to order business 9.
Assembly Bill 487, introduced by the Committee on Ways and Means. An act relating to state financial administration, suspending certain required transfers from the state general fund to the account to stabilize the operation of state government during the 2021-2023 biennium and providing other measures properly relating thereto. I'm doing.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 487 be referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
Without objection, so referred.
Senate Bill 22, introduced by the Committee on Judiciary, an act relating to correctional institutions requiring the Director of the Department of Corrections to establish and maintain a package program for certain offenders, authorizing the Department to adopt regulations relating to the authority of the Director to make certain deductions from the individual account of an offender and from the wages of an offender, requiring the Director to provide a monthly statement to each offender relating to the individual account of the offender, revising the order of priority of certain deductions from the individual account of an offender and from the wages of an offender, and providing other measures properly relating thereto. Senate Bill 40, introduced by the Committee on Health and Human Services, an act relating to health care, authorizing the Patient Protection Commission to request certain reports from a state or local governmental entity, requiring the Department of Health and Human Services to establish an all-payer claims database containing information relating to health insurance claims for benefits provided in the state under certain circumstances, requiring certain insurers to submit data to the database, authorizing certain additional insurers to submit data to the database, providing for the release and use of data in the database under certain circumstances, requiring the Department to publish a report on the quality and cost of health care using data from the database, requiring the department to submit certain other reports concerning the database to the legislature, providing immunity from civil and criminal liability for certain persons and entities, authorizing the imposition of administrative penalties and other administrative sanctions for violations of certain requirements concerning the database, prescribing authorized uses for certain administrative penalties, requiring the department to compile a report containing an inventory of certain data, making an appropriation, and providing the most properly named thereto. Senate Bill 51, introduced by the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections, and Act relating to state employees, prohibiting an employee of the Executive Department of State Government from engaging in sex or gender-based harassment, providing for the adoption and annual review of a policy for such employees concerning sex or gender-based harassment, prescribing certain duties of an appointing authority relating to sex or gender-based harassment, creating the Sex or Gender-Based Harassment and Discrimination Investigation Unit within the Division of Human Resource Management of the Department of Administration, providing for the investigation of a complaint by the Investigation Unit, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 69, introduced by the Committee on Health and Human Services and Act relating to behavioral health, requiring peer recovery support specialists and peer recovery support specialist supervisors to provide peer recovery support services under certain conditions to be certified, authorizing the imposition of civil penalties for certain violations, prohibiting the employment or retention as an independent contractor of a person to provide or supervise the provision of peer recovery support services in a position where the person has regular and substantial contact with minors if the person has been found to have engaged in certain conduct, requiring a certified peer recovery support specialist or certified peer recovery support specialist supervisor to report certain information, requiring the Department of Education to publish a list of evidence-based curricula and programs concerning the prevention of substance misuse and substance use disorder, requiring participation of public schools in a biennial survey to collect data concerning youth risk behavior of pupils enrolled in certain grades in a public school, abolishing requirements for the licensure of peer support recovery organizations, providing for the certification of substance use disorder prevention coalitions and prescribing the duties of such a coalition, requiring certain reporting concerning curricula and programs on substance misuse and substance use disorders in public schools, providing penalty, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 76, introduced by the Committee on Education and Act relating to education, revising provisions relating to submission and reporting requirements, revising provisions relating to certain advisory councils and committees, renaming the Teachers and Leaders Council of Nevada, abolishing the State Financial Literacy Advisory Council, abolishing the Commission on Educational Technology, abolishing the Competency-Based Education Network, abolishing the Council to Establish Academic Standards for Public Schools, abolishing the Statewide Council for the Coordination of the Regional Training Programs, transferring the duties of such abolished commissions, councils, and networks to the Department of Education, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 93, introduced by Senator Settlemyre, and Act relating to Medicaid, authorizing a recipient of Medicaid to receive reimbursements for personal care services, suspending eligibility for Medicaid of a person who is incarcerated to the extent possible, making an appropriation, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 147, introduced by the Committee on Judiciary and Act relating to criminal procedure, authorizing the victim to request that a court issue an order imposing a condition of release that prohibits the contact or attempted contact of certain persons, requiring the court to consider such a request, establishing provisions relating to the expiration and renewal of an order imposing a condition of release that prohibits the contact or attempted contact of certain persons, requiring a copy of an order imposing a condition of release that prohibits the contact or attempted contact of certain persons to be transmitted to the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History, providing that a person who knowingly violates any such order may be punished for unlawful trespass and dealt with for contempt of court, revising the acts constituting unlawful trespass, providing penalty, making an appropriation, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 211, introduced by Senators Harris et al., and Act relating to public health, requiring certain providers of emergency medical services in a hospital or primary care to consult with certain patients as to whether they wish to be tested for sexually transmitted diseases, requiring such a provider to test a patient who wishes to be tested or assist a patient in obtaining a test where practicable and medically indicated, requiring the hospital to ensure the performance of such a consultation and testing under certain circumstances, authorizing the imposition of discipline against a hospital or provider for certain violations, making an appropriation, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 219, introduced by Senator Canizaro, and Act relating to offenses, revising provisions relating to the collection of delinquent fines, administrative assessments, fees, and restitution, revising provisions relating to the suspension of a driver's license of a person, making an appropriation and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 236, introduced by Senators Harrison, Spearman, and relating to public safety, requiring law enforcement agencies to establish early warning systems to identify peace officers who display bias indicators or other problematic behavior, establishing provisions relating to the recording, collection, and review of information concerning traffic stops made by law enforcement officers, and imposing certain duties on the Department of Public Safety and law enforcement agencies regarding the recording, collection, and review of such information, authorizing the Department to adopt regulations relating to the recording, collection, and review of such information, requiring the Legislative Commission to appoint a committee to conduct an interim study relating to the establishment of crisis response call centers and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 287, introduced by Senators Harris and Alt, an act relating to education, requiring the directors of certain departments within the Nevada system of higher education to conduct all business and manage all funds of their respective departments, designating certain institutions within the Nevada system of higher education as the state land grant institutions and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 297, introduced by Senator Spearman, an act relating to agriculture, revising provisions relating to a plan to inventory vacant and blighted lands and a master plan requiring the Council on Food Security to research and develop recommendations on community gardens and urban farms, authorizing the Board of County Commissioners to approve a partial abatement of ad valorem taxes for owners of real property who agree to the use of real property for community gardens or urban farms, revising provisions authorizing the governing body of a county or city to allow the use of vacant county or city-owned lands for community gardening, authorizing the Director of the Department of Transportation to lease certain real property for community gardens and urban farms under certain circumstances, and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 310, introduced by Senator Neal, an act relating to state financial administration, making an appropriation to the Nevada system of higher education and authorizing the disbursement of certain federal money in certain circumstances to enable the College of Southern Nevada to assist and carry out the Nevada Grow program, and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 340, introduced by Senators Neal and Tognati, an act relating to employment requiring the Director of the Department of Health and Human Services to establish a home care employment standards board under certain circumstances, prescribing the membership of a home care employment standards board, requiring such a board to conduct an investigation into certain matters relating to the employment of home care employees, requiring such a board to develop recommendations concerning the minimum wage for home care employees or the working conditions of such employees, authorizing the Director to adopt regulations and implementing such recommendations, revising provisions governing the administration and enforcement of provisions governing the minimum wage paid to employees in the state, providing penalties, making appropriations, and providing other matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 341, introduced by Senator Spearman, an act relating to racial equity, authorizing the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services to apply for grants to reduce disparities in health care and behavioral health and certain disparities relating to kidney disease, requiring the legislative auditor to include certain information relating to persons employed as a director or chief executive officer in a report of an audit to the extent money is available, declaring the policy of the state concerning employee diversity for state employers, requiring public employers to provide racial equity training to the extent money is available, requiring public officers and employees to complete any such training offered, creating the Minority Health and Equity account to hold funding for the Office of Minority Health and Equity within the department, authorizing the office to enter into a joint partnership with a public or private entity, requiring a managed care plan that provides behavioral health services to recipients of Medicaid, to prepare and implement a plan to ensure the delivery of such services in a culturally competent manner, and providing the matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 356, introduced by the Committee on Judiciary by request, an act relating to youthful offenders, providing for a study of certain issues relating to the housing of youthful offenders, requiring the transmittal of a report of the findings of the study to the Legislative Committee on Child Welfare and Juvenile Justice, making an appropriation and providing the matters properly in thereto. Senate Bill 448, introduced by Senators Brooks et al., Assemblyman Monroe Moreno et al., an act relating to utilities, revising provisions governing partial tax abatements for certain renewable energy facilities, repealing provisions governing the electric vehicle infrastructure demonstration program, requiring an electric utility to submit a plan to accelerate transportation electrification in the state, requiring an electric utility to file a plan for certain high-voltage transmission infrastructure projects, requiring the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada to request require a transmission provider to join a regional transmission organization, creating and setting forth the powers, duties, and membership of the Regional Transportation Coordination Task Force, providing that there is no presumption that the expenditures of a utility were prudently incurred for certain purposes, revising the definition of public utility, revising provisions governing the disposal of generation assets, revising provisions governing the economic development electric rate rider program, revising requirements for the energy efficiency plan of an electric utility, abolishing the new energy industry task force, and providing the most properly named thereto. Senate Bill 417, introduced by the Committee on Finance, an act making appropriations to and authorizing expenditures of money by the Nevada Supreme Court for certain statewide technology systems for trial courts, and providing other matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 424, introduced by the Committee on Finance and Act relating to Public Health, creating the Public Health Resource Office within the Office of the Governor, providing for the appointment of the Public Health Resource Officer, prescribing the duties of the Public Health Resource Office, making appropriations, and providing the matters properly named thereto. Senate Bill 453, introduced by the Committee on Finance and Act relating to Financial Services, authorizing the Commissioner of Financial Institutions in furtherance of his or her duties or the duties of the Division of Financial Institutions of the Department of Business and Industry with respect to the issuance and renewal of certain licenses and certificates to participate in the nationwide multi-state licensing system and registry, authorizing the Commissioner to take certain actions relating to participation in the registry, revising the requirements for applicants for certain licenses or certificates issued by the Commissioner and by the Division, revising provisions relating to the expiration and renewal of certain licenses or certificates issued by the Commissioner and by the Division, requiring the holders of certain licenses or certificates issued by the Commissioner to submit certain reports to the registry, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Benita Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that all bills on the Senate bill introduction list dated May 24, 2001, be referred to the committees as shown. And I believe let's start with that.
All right, you've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I think you're wanting a recess, Assemblywoman? No?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could do that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, in addition, if we could do Senate bill introductions as move bills as referred on Senate bill introductions list number 2, dated May 24th, 2021, of which all members have a copy of on their desk.
All right, so just for clarification, that would not be an additional but the same motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And now if we could do a 1-minute recess for purposes of allowing Ways and Means to do a bill introduction on the floor.
1 minute recess.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having established a quorum of Ways and Means, I'll call this meeting to order. We have BDR 431096, revises provisions governing the Department of Motor Vehicles, reenacting and extending the imposition of a technology fee on certain transactions by the department, providing for ratification of certain actions and retroactive application, and providing other matters properly relating thereto. I'll accept a motion from Vice Chair Monroe Moreno, a second from Assemblywoman Howdigy. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those in opposition? Those in opposition, please raise their hands. I have Dr. Titus, Mr. Roberts, Ms. Tolles. If you're not on Ways and Means, don't raise your hand. You don't get to vote. If you're not on Ways and Means, do not raise your hand. Mr. Hafen and Mr. Levitt in opposition. Any other opposition? Seeing none, motion passes. BDR introduced. We'll send it right down to the Secretary, Mr. Speaker.
All right, Assembly will come back to order. We'll go to Order Business 9 first.
Assembly Bill 488, introduced by the Committee on Ways and Means and Act relating to the Department of Motor Vehicles, reenacting and extending the imposition of a technology fee on certain transactions by the Department, providing for ratification of certain actions and retroactive application, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the Assembly Bill 488 be referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
Without objection, so referred. We'll now go to Order Business 13. There being no objection, the Speaker and the Chief Clerk will sign Assembly Bills 87, 89, 91, 95, 97, 100, 101, 102, 103, 107, 109, 111, 112, 113, 130, 136, 140, 141, 145, 166, 169, 178, 184, 187, 190, 194, 197, 205, 210, 212, 215, 228, 231, 235, 236, 245, and 249. Assembly Concurrent Resolution Number 6. And Senate Bills 6, 7, 31, 33, 36, 37, 38, 43, 45, 46, 47, 50, 54, 58, 59, 60, 61, 63, 66, 72, 82, 98, 114, 125, 127, 160, 181, 439, 444, and Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 12. With that, we'll go to Order Business 15. Assemblywoman Krasner. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go to Order Business 15, we need to go to Order Business 8 for the purpose of rolling general file.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under Order Business 8, I move that all bills on general file be taken from their place in general file and be placed onto general file for the next legislative day.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll go to Order Business 15. Assemblywoman Krasner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order of Business 15.
Order Business 15.
Thank you, sir. I would like to take a minute on the floor and thank our federal Nevada delegation who introduced the Lake Tahoe Restoration Act, bipartisan, bi-state, and bicameral legislation. This national priority reauthorizes $415 million in funding through 2034 to reduce the threat of wildfire, reduce watershed runoff, and improve water clarity, combat invasive species, habitat restoration, invest in transportation and infrastructure projects, and overall protect the environment in the Lake Tahoe Basin. Lake Tahoe, our stunning jewel of the Sierra, needs protecting so that future generations can enjoy its beauty also. I am proud to represent Lake Tahoe in my district, and I applaud and thank our federal colleagues and ask that you do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order of Business 15.
Order Business 15.
Thank you. This weekend was a very special day for my family. We celebrated my father's birthday, and I just want to take a moment to thank my dad and express my appreciation for him for always being willing to make sacrifices to put our family first. Love you, Dad. Feliz cumpleaños.
Assemblyman Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this day back in 1984, our colleague from District 32 was born in Sacramento, California. She has 65 children and 508 grandchildren. Actually, she has 8 children. She has 4 boys and 4 girls and 20 grandchildren with her husband, who will not be named. And we have heard about all of them many, many times. Although all of her posterity is impressive, she is most known for writing a hit song for her brother-in-laws by the name of Bop, which was a grand success. Please join me in wishing the most caring Assemblywoman, my distant cousin, a very happy birthday, and raise your Tootsie Pops to her.
Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee has a long floor tomorrow, so seeing that, I would move that the Assembly stand adjourned until Tuesday, May 25th, 2021 at the hour of noon.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Ways and Means, please head to 4100 for our joint meeting with Senate Finance.